Polymerase chain reaction, also known as PCR, is a technology used in molecular biology to amplify a single copy or a few copies of a piece of DNA across several orders of magnitude, generating thousands to millions of copies of a particular DNA sequence. The first step in performing PCR is to create the master mix, in which a micropipetter is used to insert 265 microliters of water into a test tube. Next, we will add the chemicals that compose our PCR reaction. First, we'll add 10x solution followed by 5Q solution. Afterwards, magnesium chloride is added to the solution, followed by a BSA solution, and finally, the deoxynucleotides are added for the PCR reaction. The deoxynucleotides are the most important component of the reaction, as they are the building blocks of our reaction. Next, we add our Taq polymerase, which acts as our builder in the reaction as it combines the deoxynucleotides together to form our DNA chains that we are duplicating from our template DNA. Next, to thoroughly mix together all of our chemicals and reagents in our test tube, we will use a centrifuge which spins at a very fast rate in order to thoroughly mix together all of the ingredients.
So now we've set up all of our individual tubes to add each single sample that we're testing DNA into each of these tubes. And what we're going to do is we add 24 milliliters of the master mix that we just made into each solution, into each tube, and it acts as a buffering solution so the reaction can take place. Now we've already added the master mix to each one of these tubes, so 24 microliters of the master mix is in each one of these. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a single microliter that I talked about of DNA. This is extracted DNA that we've extracted out of plant samples, because we work with plants in this lab. And we're going to take that single microliter of DNA and we're putting it into these reaction tubes, and we're going to put it into the thermocycler and it's going to turn into billions of copies. So once again, I'd like to show you how small of a mount this is. It's so small it won't even come off the edge of the pipetter. So now all the tubes have the buffer and the single microliter of DNA in them. We're going to once again spin each of these centrifuge tubes to make sure that the mix is mixed thoroughly. And then we're going to put them in what we call a thermocycler. This device is a device that has very precise temperature, and it raises the temperature up and down to your annealing and to your extending temperature, and it allows their PCR reaction to grow in length. The thermocycler is pretty much a set it and forget it device. You put it in there and it repeats the cycle thousands of times, amplifying one piece of DNA into billions and billions of pieces of DNA. So now we're going to unload them and put them in, and we're going to let this PCR reaction take place and get our DNA and compare it, and that's our PCR.